Good evening and welcome. You're watching NewsX. I'm Rishabh Gulati at 6:55 and watch this Delhi. Breaking developments coming in on this broadcast. Have a look at this. The Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, drags an engineer in charge of sewer development in a certain area of the city and tells him in front of a public darbar, either you get the job done or I'll sign your suspension papers here and now. Listen in to Manish Sisodia, and then we're opening this up to our guests joining us this evening as well as to your calls of whether do you think this is the only way now to get civic work done in a land of Babudam, or is it a dangerous precedent? Your thoughts, your calls. First listen in.
अगर आपकी नॉलेज के हिसाब से ई ब्लॉक की सारी गलियां रिस्टोर हो चुकी हैं, एक भी गली रिस्टोर नहीं पाई गई तो आपका सस्पेंशन ऑर्डर मैं यहीं साइन करवा रहा हूं। बताइए। आप इंजीनियर हैं, आपकी क्या नॉलेज है? आप बताइए, आपका काम है फील्ड में जाकर इंस्पेक्ट करना। सर, हमारे हिसाब से सारे रेस्टोरेशन जो हमने सिविल लाइन जहां डाली थी सब रेस्टोर कर दिए। अगर आपकी नॉलेज के हिसाब से
Okay, you heard it once. Listen in again to exactly what Manish Sisodia is saying.
अगर आपकी नॉलेज के हिसाब से ई ब्लॉक की सारी गलियां रिस्टोर हो चुकी हैं, एक भी गली रिस्टोर नहीं पाई गई तो आपका सस्पेंशन ऑर्डर मैं यहीं साइन करवा रहा हूं। बताइए। आप इंजीनियर हैं, आपकी क्या नॉलेज है? आप बताइए, आपका काम है फील्ड में जाकर इंस्पेक्ट करना। सर, हमारे हिसाब से सारे रेस्टोरेशन जो हमने सिविल लाइन जहां डाली थी सब रेस्टोर कर दिए।
All right, is this the way to get the job done finally? Have we found a party with the gall and the gusto to deliver and take on engineers who don't operate, or are we setting a very dangerous precedent? Joining us on the broadcast, Kamal Mitra Shenoy, he's a member of the Aam Aadmi Party. Amar Pawar joining us from the Congress, RP Singh from the Delhi. Kamal Mitra Shenoy, let me start with you. The Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi comes out and tells the Deputy Engineer, either you get the job done or I'll sign your suspension orders here and now. Do you think that's the way to go about things?
Well, number one, you've censored what happened. It was a meeting on the participatory budget. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
It was a meeting on the participatory budget, and he asked the engineer that if all the tiles were in place so that no sewage leaked, people didn't break their limbs falling into the sewage, and he said yes, it was all done. So he said, okay, if it is not all done, if I find anything wrong, I'll suspend you. And mind you, under government rules, if you fail to do your duty, after an inquiry, action can be taken. So I think, and mind you, it was, as I said, in a participatory budget discussion where lots of people were present, and they all applauded what Manish Sisodia said.
All right, they all applauded. RP Singh, if that's the status quo, then what were various other governments doing? Why can't other people stand up and just get the job done?
See, issue is there's a new style of governance, probably threatening the officers in public domain. There's a new style of governance. And I also understand this difficulty with bureaucracy also, but setting them in public doesn't work. I doubt that works. But if there is something which is not, everything is a record, and he being the Chief Minister of the city today, and if there's any officer who has not done anything on record, he can be immediately suspended, but there's a system for it. I mean, he doesn't need to, he can ask the concerned authority within that system to take care of the person and then dig the records.
Okay, Amar Pawar, a great precedent being set. Why couldn't somebody from the Congress come and get this done? Because the Aam Aadmi Party says it's an effectual way, having a public budget, having the public officers accountable in front of the public. Great idea, they're saying.
See, I would like to state that, to start with, that this has been a concept started with Aam Aadmi Party would be something wrong to state, because something very similar, that was the Bhagidari system that was started by the Congress government. In any case, coming to the present controversy, where we saw the Deputy Chief Minister heckling a senior bureaucrat. The point here is that this public posturing has been an old habit of the Aam Aadmi Party. Any function in the government is a result of interdepartmental coordination, and there needs to be some kind of trust between the elected representatives and the babus that are working in the system. Heckling is good for that might have been an option exercised by Mr. Sisodia to please the public that were present at the function. But what is important is that what is your intent actually while you are there in the government? Are you actually doing what you promised? What were your pre-poll promises? Are you executing them? I'll just like to cite a few examples here. For example, they said that 4 days after coming into power, Mr. Kejriwal had written to the Union Power Ministry that they need a coal block for Delhi to make Delhi power sufficient.
Yeah, but no, let's stick to the issue at hand, Amar Pawar. Let's stick to the issue at hand. And before I give, let's stick to the issue at hand. Before I give Professor Kamal Mitra Chennai a chance to respond, so just hold on. I'm getting a couple of callers. Anil Dikshit is joining us from Gwalior. Anil, are you enthused by something like this, or are you dismayed?
No, I'm listening. Yeah. My question is to Mr. Kamal Mitra Chennai, Professor Chennai. He jumps to the immunity of terrorists, and he wants that a person without any inquiry should be hanged.
Okay, so you're a bit dismayed. You're not too convinced. Gaurav is calling us from Delhi. I'll just come to you, Professor Chennai. Let's take one more caller. Gaurav is calling us from Delhi. Gaurav, go ahead, have your say.
Yeah, hi. I'm calling from Delhi, and I think this is a very welcome change, as in, because the public is so frustrated with the working style of both Congress and BJP, and I hope that both the spokesperson from BJP and Congress will applaud this step taken by the Aam Aadmi Party, because these babus are to be held accountable for what they're doing with the public money.
Okay, are we getting them, Kamal Mitra Chennai, to pull up their socks, or are we actually, by humiliating these public officers, demotivating them?
Well, I think from what Mr. Singh said, that he thought this might not work. But mind you, the warning was given after the engineer said that all the sewage was properly taken care of. It was after he said that Sisodia warned him. And as I said, it would go through the due process. There would be an inquiry. Based on the results of the inquiry, there would be action.
No, but he's saying, I suspend you here and now, sir.
Not only the Congress, but he said if he had given false information to the Deputy Chief Minister, then he could ask for suspension, but the decision on suspension or not would have to go through due process. It could not be an arbitrary decision by
So this is not arbitrary, this is due process, but this is also pulling up the people who are actually supposed to execute public projects by their bootstraps to make sure they get delivered. That's the perspective. What do you, the viewer, think? Vijay is calling us from Goa. Vijay, what do you feel?
Sir, our bureaucracy is completely unaccountable and lethargic. And I feel that this stick, and they're used to the carrot. It's about time they get the stick in a summary fashion.
About time they get the stick, RP Singh. That's the public sentiment, and it seems to be in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party Deputy Chief Minister, who seems to have connected with the public chord that this is actually the way to get the job done.
I put it another way, that why don't we bring, there's already Right to Service Act in city. Why don't we implement that Right to Service Act and ensure that all officers are accountable for whatever they have to, whatever job they have to perform. And if he doesn't perform, then he can be paralyzed. Instead of publicly doing it, I mean it's just like probably some movie scene like that. I don't know, some movie came Nayak. In that, I mean, it's not a movie. So there's an administrative system, and there's already a law to bring every officer under Right to Service Act.
Okay, so you're saying this is all drama.
Whatever service he's supposed to provide.
Yeah, so you're saying this is all drama.
I'm not saying drama, but see, there's a, please, what I'm saying is there's a law, there's a system, and system is already prevalent. Have that implemented.
Okay,
There's a
the
right to
system
service act,
exists.
have the
Okay,
right to
Amar
service
Pawar
act
wants to come in.
implemented.
Okay, Amar Pawar wants to come in. More callers joining us. Srinivas from Kolkata. Srinivas, go ahead, have your say.
Yeah, Srinivas here. I really appreciate the move taken by Manish ji. We have had all the laws all these years. No law was stopping any politician for taking action all these years, and no law was stopping any babu from doing his work. But when we have a politician trying to sincerely solve a problem, why do we have all this hue and cry? Are we here to shout and make a hue and cry if somebody is trying to do his job? And
Okay, so if somebody is trying to do his job, applaud him, and that's the opportunity you get, Mr. Srinivas, on the broadcast to applaud if you think he's doing a great job. Quickly listen in. Once again, for viewers just joining us, exactly what happened. This happened, let me put it into context. A public hearing called by the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi, in which they decided that we are going to give a particular area of the city 50 lakh rupees of a budget to hold developmental projects. And then they asked the people to vote which developmental projects they wanted to prioritize. Interesting concept, novel concept. You decide. And in the midst of this, an engineer who was in charge of sewer relaying works was summoned on stage, and then this happens.
अगर आपकी नॉलेज के हिसाब से ई ब्लॉक की सारी गलियां रिस्टोर हो चुकी हैं, एक भी गली रिस्टोर नहीं पाई गई तो आपका सस्पेंशन ऑर्डर मैं यहीं साइन करवा रहा हूं. बताइए. आप इंजीनियर हैं, आपकी क्या नॉलेज है? आप बताइए, आपका काम है फील्ड में जाकर इंस्पेक्ट करना. सर, हमारे सारे रेस्टोरेशन जो हमने इक्विवेलेंट जान डाली थी सब रेस्टोर कर दिए.
Okay, you can see the status of the flustered engineer when he's handed the microphone, and again he doesn't know what to say. Now, that's either a great thing because we've caught him and he's been nailed, or it's a disturbing thing because maybe he's done the job, then he's being harangued for no reason. Amar Pawar wanted to come in. Before that, couple of more callers. VK Bajpai calling from Delhi, Dheeraj from Guwahati. Mr. Bajpai, you go first.
मैं एक क्वेश्चन करना चाहता हूँ आपके मिस्टर चिनाय से. Hello.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
I have one very specific question to Professor Chinoy, who's supposed to be very loyal to our party. Probably he forgot one thing: the heckling in the public by Deputy Chief Minister clearly indicate he is a Hitler, not less than that. So there, in democracy administration, what he is supposed to do, he can call the person concerned and can also heckle and suspend it. But in front of the public heckling, he is building his own.
Okay, so
image.
divided opinions coming from Delhi, some extremely in favor, some against it. Dheeraj from Guwahati, what do you feel?
Okay, I want to ask a question to Mr. Chinoy directly.
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, AAP has come to the power in Delhi after winning 67 seats. So we are expecting a lot of things from AAP, you know. So I personally believe that what Sisodia did today is not right. I mean, this is not the way to treat someone. I mean, what is Mr. Chinoy's view? I really want to...
Divided opinions over there. There are some certainly very much in favor. Others are going, come on, what's going on? This is not the way to do it. Amar Pawar, yeah, take it, then I'll get the professor a chance to respond. Go ahead.
I hope that this is not an example, you know, by which they are trying to pass on the responsibility to the bureaucracy. This is a party which has come to power and has a government in Delhi. They should not be in constant mode of agitation, anti-establishment mode against the bureaucracy. They have to work in tandem with them to execute various works and promises that they made during the election. Mistrust, an environment of mistrust between the bureaucracy and the government will only stop the work, will only delay the works, the development works in Delhi.
Constant confrontation.
So doing this public posturing and heckling somebody is not going to help the people of Delhi. People of Delhi want
constant
results.
confrontation, Professor Chinoy. You know, while being tough is perhaps is required, but constant confrontation comes with its own evils.
Exactly.
All right, we lost that audio connection there with Kamal Mitra Chinoy. We'll get it right back. Rohit from Delhi, meanwhile, is calling us. Rohit, your turn. Take the opportunity, have your say. Rohit, can you hear us? Okay, we come back to Rohit from Delhi just once again. Again, listen in to exactly the sequence of events that they are playing out and have a look at the completely clueless and shocked reaction there by the engineer who's just been summoned up on stage and he's been given a dressing down, and you get to decide whether this was a great idea, much needed, or whether it was a bit of an overkill. Listen in.
अगर आपकी नॉलेज के हिसाब से ई ब्लॉक की सारी गलियां रिस्टोर हो चुकी हैं, एक भी गली रिस्टोर नहीं पाई गई तो आपका सस्पेंशन ऑर्डर मैं यहीं साइन करवा रहा हूं. बताइए. आप इंजीनियर हैं, आपकी क्या नॉलेज है? आप बताइए, आपका काम है फील्ड में जाकर इंस्पेक्ट करना. सर, हमारे सारे रेस्टोरेशन जो हमने सिविल लाइन जहां डाली थी सब रेस्टोर कर दिए.
All right, Professor Chinoy, we lost you for a second. Go ahead, sir. You were making a point. Professor, can you hear us?
Who are you talking to?
To you, sir. You were making a point. Sorry, we lost you. A couple of callers were critical of what was going on. Is there an issue of being a confrontation at loggerheads all the time?
No, I don't think there is any such issue, because for a confrontation you need numbers, and the numbers, as you could see in this meeting, are with AAP. And the idea is not confrontation but regular checkup and correction of mistakes. The idea is not to suspend, but suspension as a warning. You saw the engineer was clearly perturbed because he hadn't been told he would be accountable in such a way. So we are going to bring accountability everywhere, anywhere we can, and we will invite the people. This is not a secret thing where the people are out and the engineers do their work and no one knows exactly what was done, what was the kind of material used and so forth. So this is part of public education, and we will do it in every
It's part of public
possible area
education.
we can.
You know, Amar Pawar, just hold on. I want to get in RP Singh also. RP Singh, half the people won't even know who the engineer was. They won't be able to get an appointment with him. At least he was pulled up on stage and the people know this is the man who needs to get the job done.
But as I could hear your clip, I can't see it, but as I could hear your clip, the engineer said, yes, I have done the job. Obviously, when an officer, engineer or junior engineer or engineer is called on stage, they are not used to the public domain affair. So he said he has done the job. But that's not the issue I'm again saying. But the better way is that why don't you promulgate a law and why don't you make that law effective? And that is already there. And that law is very simple, that every officer has to be designated what job he is to do. And if he doesn't do that job, then he can be pulled up for that. And that not necessarily to the politician or to the minister. It can be directly done by any complainant. As a citizen, even I can write a letter saying that this was the job to be done, this is your assignment, you have not performed it. It's called Right to Citizen Act, and why don't our party implement that in city? That will help.
Okay, implement it. Okay, implement it. Aman Pawar, you've been wanting to come in. Go ahead.
Let the right to services act be on a side. They haven't even implemented the Lokpal. This party was started on the Lokpal movement, and we just saw in the recent confrontations amongst the party itself, amongst the party members, they fired their own Lokpal. Now, there was this another very important issue of unauthorized colonies on which the Chief Minister spoke recently. And if you see that what they are promising, and it really does not reflect into their budget, into their actions. They have reduced 160 crores from the budget of from Delhi government's budget.
Okay, let's cleave to the issue. Let's cleave to the issue. The fact remains, gentlemen, both Ms. Amar Pawar and RP Singh, and I'll take the question with RP Singh first. The fact remains is that in many ways the Aam Aadmi Party has been trendsetters. When it came to the issue of water, they took it up first, most effectually. When it came to the issue of electricity, they took it up first, most effectually. And now they're showing that there is a way of being effective in governance also. RP Singh first, then Amar Pawar. RP Singh first.
No, I'm sorry on water also. I'm so sorry that 20,000 litre free is just a farce. There is more than 35% of citizens in Delhi who don't get drinking water, potable drinking water still. I stay in heart of city named Rajendra Nagar. There is still more than 35% of my constituency which still doesn't get potable drinking water. So that promise has not been fulfilled.
Okay.
I'm saying that saying water free is no free.
Okay.
But as far as administration goes, I'm again saying, good, you can pull an officer, you are a CM of city. But the better way is that why don't you help people to do it directly? Why don't...
Okay, one at a time. Hang on. Kamal Mitra Chinoy, is there a fine line? Hang on, gentlemen. Kamal Mitra Chinoy, is there a fine line between pulling up an officer by his bootstraps and a direct confrontation that we saw in the last Aam Aadmi Party government, that many people within the Aam Aadmi Party, including its top hierarchy, suggest that perhaps was a bit of an overkill. The Pradarshan outside Parliament, the Somnath Bharti midnight tryst, all of those were an overkill. Are we at that fine line now?
No, number one, one point made by the Congress spokesperson, who always has to bring something extraneous in, about the Lokpal bill. He would remember that the first AAP government fell on the Lokpal bill, and we are working on it to make sure that it would go through.
Okay.
About water, the fact is that Delhi has problems of water, and we are trying to do our best, and we will, to the extent we can, give free water.
Okay, all right. Just hold on, gentlemen. Lots of callers coming in. Hold on. Amal Pawar, I'll give you a chance.
Let me ask this question. That in regard to the water scenario in Delhi, why have you reduced 200 crores from your voter
I'll
account?
take up all those points,
in your
leaving,
voter
of course, to
account
the issue at
as
hand also.
compared to the
Just hold
last
on.
year's
Couple
budget?
of callers. Ramesh from Coimbatore, Roria
If
from
water was
Odisha.
such
Ramesh,
an
you go
important-
first.
important
Hang on, Amar,
issue
hang on,
on
hang
you-
on.
for you-
Let's get the voice of the people, always the voice of God. Let's listen in. Ramesh, your turn.
Hello, good evening. This is actually a surprise to me. There is incapability of execution with the Aam Aadmi Party.
Sir, go ahead. I'd like to explain that. Qualify that.
Yes, yes. It is totally incapability of Aam Aadmi Party in execution of the job. And I never heard in my lifetime actually the people will be taken to like this in front of the people.
So you think it's a good thing?
Is it actually same thing is applicable to Manish Sisodia if he is not completing the job?
Okay,
Whether
interesting
he will be
point, that
out from the post.
if the government does not deliver, then will he also be as applicable? Perhaps by the people's vote he might be. Roria from Odisha, what do you feel? Roria, go ahead. All right, we'll get back to that caller. Okay, this is your turn for the Congress spokesperson. Go ahead, sir.
I want to ask that there was a very important issue of the teachers that had to be given permanent status in Delhi. All of them were protesting outside the Chief Minister's residence, outside Manish Sisodia's residence. It was their direct responsibility. They had to execute a direct order to make them permanent. They are not doing that. But when it comes to public posturing in a big public gathering, and they have to heckle somebody, score some brownie points, they are ready to do it. But why are they not executing the key promises that they made during the election?
Okay.
Why are they not giving the permanent status to the teachers? Why are they not reflecting their intention in their budget, in their vote of account? Why are they slashing the allocations for their pre-poll promises? They have reduced about 400 crores from the power sector. Now Delhi is going to rely more on the private sector for having continuous supply of power in Delhi.
We're talking about style of governance here.
At length
of course
on
there are
electricity
issues,
before you
and
came to power.
it's been a month or two. Of course there are issues.
On the water issue.
No, hang on.
In your
Of
vote
course there are
account, you have
issues,
slashed your budget in
but
regard
let
to
us
all these things.
contextualize the debate we're having, because RP Singh, there have been several criticisms of the Aam Aadmi Party in the past, both in the terms. Yeah, your point is well made, sir. Your point is well made. Give the others a chance. RP Singh, there were several criticisms, and some genuine, of the way the Aam Aadmi Party functioned last time around. 49 days, we saw dharna outside Parliament, we saw Somnath Bharti having an argument with the cops. There was a problem. But this, it seems that few of our callers are saying that this is good. We need accountability. What's wrong with this? They're on the right fine line now.
I'm saying it's very good. Accountability is desired, but make that accountability over to the public. Why to a minister for it? Tomorrow, I want a Jal Board director to be accountable to public. I have to simply send a complaint, and should be accountable for that. He should come to me saying, sir, yes, this job was to be done these many days, and so I'll fulfill it.
Okay, last word, Kamal Mitra Chennai, I've got you back. Last word with you. Are we on the right side of the fine line when it comes to style of governance? Is this something new or something to at least cast some caution about?
Look, it is something new, it is something promised, but if experienced people like Mr. R.P. Singh and the Congress spokespersons, amongst others, think we could improve. He talked about a certain act. Certainly we will use it, but it will always be two-pronged. One, where with the bureaucracy, and the other with the people who may get a political leader there, the Deputy Chief Minister or Chief Minister or anyone else, an MLA, to help them effect their act.
Okay.
Mr. R.P. Singh is very experienced. He knows that the real problem is not the lack of money or the lack of time. The problem is in implementation, and a very important part of the implementation is what the technically qualified people do.
Okay, the problem
and
is
all
often...
Mr. Sodia was trying to do was to use them, to help them, to be frank about what they said. And I'm sure if he's been frank, he will be applauded and recommended highly.
Okay,
by,
R.P. Singh wants to respond. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chenoy, if you can hear me, I'll appreciate after this program, do call me up and let's sit and chat over it, and I'll tell you how can you make the system accountable to public at large. Why through a politician, why through a minister? So the system can be accountable to public at large, and any citizen can ask for his right without any problem. I'll appreciate after this program, do call me up and
Okay,
I'll help you in that.
All right, gentlemen, stay with me, because even while this saga has been playing out in Delhi, a longer saga has been playing out within the Aam Aadmi Party, because tonight a 48-hour show cause notice that was issued to Yogendra Yadav as well as Prashant Bhushan has expired. They are now presenting their replies, and we've got breaking information of the inside story of what's happening within the Aam Aadmi Party camp right now. We are being told that in the response that Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan are submitting, they are going to oppose the presence of Ashish Khaitan and Pankaj Gupta in the top committee. They are also going to demand the ouster of 2 leaders from the disciplinary committee. They are also going to demand that the party use the same yardstick to Kejriwal's threat to leave the party when it comes to issues of discipline. Pratyush Dubey, my colleague, is on the phone line. Pratyush, what do we know?
Well, Rishabh, you know, all this information coming to us via very, very senior sources within the Aam Aadmi Party's rebel faction, so as to say. Remember, the entire day today, Prashant Bhushan, Yogendra Yadav, though they were unavailable for comment, have been holding long meetings, and they're trying to pull in the resources. So what we are learning right now is that they're trying to formulate a cohesive response, and the parts of that cohesive response are threefold. The first part, of course, is that they're going to point out that in a similar manner that Arvind Kejriwal had opposed, had spoken about a split. They're also speaking about a split.
So that should also qualify for discipline. That's the response coming in. We are expecting, of course, an official response from the Aam Aadmi Party and the submission of that show cause to happen shortly. For now, I'll leave it with my guests, slipping into a short break. Coming back on the other side, we're taking more callers, because what's coming up next will shock you. Yesterday, they were throwing cash in the sky. Today, they are beating up municipal corporators. What are the netas up to, and why are they ruling like this? We're coming back. 2 minutes.